welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be trying out two different face products that have been creating a lot of buzz. First we have the KVD Good Apple Balm Foundation or Foundation Balm. And then I've got the Tarte Ultra Creamy Concealer, the Shape Tape Creamy Concealer. So these have been causing a lot of waves throughout makeup communities, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. So I haven't watched reviews or anybody's thoughts on these, so I'm going in completely blind, which I like to do. So you guys know that I don't have any opinions that I have adopted from other people. So this first claims to be full coverage, matte. You can apply it with a brush or a sponge. I have it in the shade Light 018. I had to self-tan to match this because they didn't have my, what would normally be my winter shade or my natural skin shade. So I did self-tan. It looks a lot darker in here than it does on my face. So I'm very interested to see this. It has apple extract in it, although it's the 10th ingredient, I think. And then it does have hyaluronic acid in it, but that is also not at the top of the list. So just keep that in mind. If you don't know, the top of ingredients start off with how much concentration is in it. So the thing that's first is what's most dominant in the product itself, and then on the list goes when you get to the bottom, there's practically none of it in there, but there kind of is, just so you know. I've only tried one Kat Von D foundation. I can't remember what it was, but it was the full coverage one that everybody loved, and it was awful on me. So we're gonna see how this one wears. I know that Kat Von D no longer is a part of this. KVD stands for something else, something silly, I think. And then in the Tarte Ultra Creamy Concealer, I have the shade 16N, which is fair to light neutral. I'm very excited to try this. For those of you who don't know or haven't been around my channel for very long, I don't like the traditional Tarte Shape Tape. It's too drying, it's too matte. I didn't like it and it was crepey. So I'm very interested to see how this one works because I have a feeling I will like this one a lot more. Of course, this is supposed to be basically like the regular Tarte Shape Tape, except of course not matte and crepey. So we will see. I'm going to be doing an application portion of this video and then a wear test. So I'm going to take you throughout my day and show you how they're both wearing and all that good stuff. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get to the application portion. I have the foundation here and I'm hoping it's gonna work. I actually self-tanned in hopes that this would match a little bit better. I think I'm gonna be able to get away with it. I don't self-tan my face, by the way, because my skin is really sensitive and that will make it very matte. Also got the new Tarte Ultra Creamy Concealer here. I'm excited about both of these. I know that they're both kind of getting a lot of buzz on the internet. A little note, I'm not overly impressed with this packaging. I think it's cool, but it's plastic, hard plastic, but it's not luxurious feeling. It feels very cheap-esque. I was gonna say drugstore-esque, but honestly, that's just a shot at the drugstore, and I love the drugstore. It says you can apply it with a brush, so I've got the e.l.f. Ultimate Blending Brush, or a sponge, so I've got the Flower Beauty sponge. I'm gonna do one side with the brush and one side with the sponge, and then with the concealer, I'm gonna try it with both my e.l.f. concealer sponge, which is my favorite concealer sponge, and then the Rare Beauty concealer brush. This is the only concealer brush I've ever found that I actually like, so I wanted to try it both ways because I know several people will use concealer in a different way. I know some people apply concealer with their fingers. I don't, and I don't have a third eye, so I'm just gonna do the sponge and the brush, I guess. Let's go ahead and get started on this. I'm gonna start on the left side with the brush. I'm gonna go directly in here. Let's see if I can actually get full coverage. Oh my gosh. Okay, that went on very full coverage, right off the bat. That went on extremely full coverage. I'm pretty shocked, as you can see. How did that go on so full coverage? I think it's gonna work. I might have to drag it a little bit down my neck to kind of mesh it. I did self-tan my neck, but it fades quicker than the rest of my body. Holy cow. Okay. Put the brush on this side because I wanted to cover that stupid pimple. I didn't even go with that much product on. I didn't dip in there 1,000 times. It's pretty full coverage. Wow. I feel like this is going so quick. Yeah, that's pretty full coverage. You can kind of see, you can of course see the texture of that pimple, which I'm already annoyed with. But the pigmentation isn't that noticeable. Let me do my nose, or at least, you know, half of my nose. It goes on pretty smooth. I'm really shocked. And it doesn't look cakey. I don't even feel like I really need to build it up. Although I did say that you could take a little bit on your finger and like spot conceal. So just for the sake of the video, I am gonna do that. I'm gonna take it a little bit. I don't wanna take too much. And go on this pimple. Not that it really needs much help. One thing to note is that I can definitely feel it on my skin, which I'm not the biggest fan of. I don't like being able to feel it, especially because it just feels so heavy. But if that doesn't bother you, it's definitely very full coverage. I'm very shocked. Okay, so let's see how the sponge performs. This is the Flower Beauty one, and I'm just gonna go in directly onto my sponge and just kind of start tapping it in. Oh, even with a sponge, it provided pretty full coverage. It soaks up more of the product, so I do have to go in more times because it's a sponge. But getting into the skin nicely, and it's providing decent coverage for it being a sponge. I need to get my scarring down here. I've had some really bad breakouts, and I'm like really annoyed about it. I still have remnants of them. Yeah, I do have to go in more times because the sponge is soaking a lot of it up, but still, like, it's looking really good. I'm really shocked. I mean, not that I was expecting this to be bad, but I just wasn't expecting much, I guess, because I'm not used to foundation balms. Why does my hair look so crazy? It's blending pretty nicely. This is one layer. You can still see some acne scars through here. You can see, of course, like the texture of that pimple, like I said, but it's pretty hefty on the coverage. I don't know if the spot conceal thing did anything extra on that pimple. What I'm gonna do is just go in on my brush a little bit and try to cover these little scars that I have on my chin from breaking out pretty bad. I mean, honestly, it looks pretty good. With the brush, you just cover those right up. I'm very impressed with how a brush works with this. Like, a sponge is fine. You could definitely build it up, but with a brush, you get so much coverage. And you can feel it on your skin, like I said, but honestly, it looks really smoothing, which I'm pretty shocked by. I thought it might look cakey. I really don't feel like I need to do anything else on my face, like foundation-wise. I think I can go ahead and move to the concealer. Gosh, I'm just like so shocked at how good this looks so far. Like, and honestly, I'm pretty impressed with my like general shade match. I think that it might be a little off if I go stand outside, which I will do because I usually like to get a natural lighting clip. I'm pretty impressed with this. Like, that was really fast. If I were in the car, I would take this if it wears well, especially. If it doesn't wear well, I wouldn't. But I would definitely take this like on a trip or something and just throw it on. I'm hoping it wears well because if it does, this would be perfect. Now, I think that this concealer is going to be a little bit lighter than I would typically go for me. And the reason why is because I bought this when I was like still like not self-tanned. So it matched my skin tone better. This, of course, it's basically just supposed to be like the regular Shape Tape, except it's supposed to be ultra creamy. And of course, it's got the traditional Shape Tape bottle with a huge doe foot. I'm actually not the biggest fan of huge doe foots like this because I find that I can't be as precise. And I'm very like particular about where I put my concealer. Wow, this foundation looks so good. I'm just gonna take it and be very careful and just put it on the inner corner and the outer corner. This is what I do because I like my darkness is not in the middle. It is like on the inner corner, and then I like to lift my eye. I saw this technique on Instagram or something. I'm gonna do the sponge on this side to keep with the sponge theme on this side and the brush theme on this side. And we're just gonna see what it does. I'm a little nervous I put too much on. I think I did put just a little bit too much on. I'm gonna have to figure out how to get this from not going onto my actual eyelid. See, with concealers like this, you have to be so careful because they can easily become too much. But if you have like a lot of darkness to cover, These are great. I really like this formula. See how much brighter my under eye looks? And you can see it lifted. I will go in and blend out that shadow so it's not so like harsh. That line is where I put the concealer. But like it is very brightening, very full coverage off the first layer, obviously. I agree that it is creamy, and what I like about it is because it's creamy, it smoothed out my under eye pretty nicely, and I think that it did a good job of just brightening and lifting the area and making it look like I got more sleep. So what I'm gonna do now, of course, is put it on the other eye and go in with a concealer brush and see. What I like about this brush, by the way, I actually did an entire Rare Beauty video when the line actually launched, not since their newer launches. And I like this concealer brush because of the way it's shaped, and I can get up right in that little corner and kind of like make sure it's not blending into my eyeshadow. And it does a good job of not like messing with like the actual formula. And some brushes like cause strokiness because they're brushes. And this one does not. I also really like the foundation brush of this. I should have used that one, but that's okay. I love the e.l.f. blending brush. That's one of my all-time favorite foundation brushes. Right, so there's the brush side. I think it looks just as good as the sponge side, just as smooth as you can see. It's not like it hasn't caused any like weirdness. There's no crepiness. There is a little bit of settling right here. And I know a lot of people said that you didn't have to set like the original Tarte Shape Tape. I always did, and maybe that was a part of the crepiness, but I could not set it. This one just looks so good. I mean, I look like I got sleep, and I didn't get that great of sleep. Everything is looking really good right now. Of course, I'm gonna go like finish the rest of my makeup off camera and let you know how that goes. But, oh my goodness, this foundation is looking so good. The concealer's very full coverage. Of course, I'm doing a wear test of both of these so you guys will see how they wear throughout the day. But right now, off the bat, like, oh my gosh, this looks so good. I'm genuinely shocked. I was not expecting much from this, and I didn't really know what to expect from this. I was more excited about this personally, but I know a lot of people are into this, and now I don't know which one I'm more excited about because this is awesome. Although I wish that they had better packaging, I gotta be honest. But anyway, so I think I'm gonna go try to get a clip in natural lighting real quick before I put the rest of my makeup on so you can see what this looks like. And then I'm gonna put the rest of my makeup on off camera and come back and let you know how that went, and then we're gonna do a wear test. So this is what we're looking like. It's quite dewy, but I don't hate it. And of course I'm gonna set it with some powder to kind of bring the dewiness down. But I feel like it's an okay shade match. Just cut me a break, okay? I was trying to self-tan to match this foundation I bought. It is very full coverage, so if you don't like that, then don't get this. But I love the way it looks on my skin. There is a slight bit settling right in the smile line, but not too much yet, and it's been on for about, I think, 15 minutes now. The concealer looks really good. I'm gonna put some mascara on to balance out like how bright my under eye looks. I think that concealer is something I would use if I like didn't get any sleep at all. I don't think it's something I'd use on a daily basis because I prefer like more medium coverage. But if you absolutely need full coverage, I think it's pretty good. There's maybe a little bit of darkness coming through. I can't really tell because it's really bright out here. Oh good, somebody's watching me do this. Hello person, I'm sorry, I'm weird. Anyway, so yeah, this is what it's looking like outside. I actually really like it. So I'm gonna put the rest of my makeup on and then come back and talk about how everything went on top of it. So the rest of my makeup is on. The bronzer went over really nicely. I used a powder bronzer today, and I really like the way it went over. It didn't pick it up or anything like that. Powder went over it really nicely. I used a balm highlight. It's the Flower Beauty one that I tried in my date night get ready with me video that I am really obsessed with now. And it looks really nice. It went over it nicely. Didn't pick up the foundation at all. So the foundation was pretty much set. I don't think that it's matte like it says. I do agree that it's full coverage. I would say it's more of a satin matte to a dewy finish, honestly. Especially when you powder, it gets more satin, but it does kind of go on dewy and it wouldn't dry down to a full matte. So if you have oily skin, maybe steer clear of this one. However, if you have a lot to cover, I think this one is really good so far. It is clinging to a couple of dry patches. I'm just having a skin weird time for like the past 4 months. It's driving me crazy. So I have some dryness, but it's clinging a little bit to it down here and in this like little crease in my nose. And it is falling into the smile line a little bit. I think I talked about that in the outside portion of the video, but I do really like the way it looks. It's nice that it's full coverage, but it does not look cakey. I'm trying to show you. It doesn't look cakey. And it just looks overall like pretty. I really like it. I hope it continues to wear well, because if it does, this one will quickly become like travel makeup for sure, because like I can put it on a plane or in a car and I don't have to worry about getting foundation all over everything. So I'm really hoping that this wears well throughout the day. The concealer, I think it looks really nice. Definitely pretty full coverage unless you have like super blueness. I think it could pop through a little bit, like the blue could maybe come through with the concealer a little bit. But I think it looks really nice. I already like it way more than the regular original Shape Tape because it's not crepey and weird. Although it does need to be set, so keep that in mind. But I think it all looks really good. So I finished putting my face makeup on at 11. I actually am filming another video too. So it's almost 12 right now. But I finished putting my face makeup on at 11, so I'm going to do 2-hour check-ins. So in an hour at 1, I'm going to do a 2-hour check-in, and then 3 and 5 and all that good stuff. That is pretty much it for now, and I will see you guys in the first check-in. So welcome to the first check-in. This is what the foundation is looking like and what the concealer is looking like. I have a little bit of mascara in a corner of my eye right there. But it all is looking really good. I do have a little bit of clinginess going on with my dry patches with the foundation, and maybe a little bit of a beginning of creaser right there, which is a little bit annoying, but we're gonna see how it progresses throughout the day. Of course, it's only been 2 hours, so not a whole lot has changed. You can see it's pretty satin to dewy. I don't think it's matte at all. I think that's a lie, but the rest of it is not a lie, I don't think. Like, it's definitely full coverage and all that stuff. But I do like the way it's looking so far. So that's pretty much it, and I will see you guys in the next check-in. All right, so it is 3 o'clock right now. So we are the 4-hour check-in. I'm definitely looking pretty dewy, but it's not awful. It's definitely getting worse on that dry patch and a little bit more on my smile line, but the upper lip hasn't gotten much worse or anything like that. So I do like the way it looks so far. Because it's getting so dewy so fast, I just don't know how long it will last, but we will see how it progresses from here. But I definitely don't think it's matte at all. So if you were going into this thinking, perfect, like a foundation balm that's matte, it's not matte. It is full coverage, but it's not matte from the beginning, and it does not get matte or anything. It actually gets dewier as the day goes on. But yeah, other than like the slight smile line getting a little bit worse and the patch over here getting a little bit worse, everything else is looking pretty much the same and is looking good. So I will see you guys in a couple of hours for the 3rd check-in. All right, guys, so it is the 3rd check-in. It's 5 o'clock right now. This is what we're looking like. It's very dewy, and you can definitely see all my dry patches, which is gross. I've talked about this. My skin has not been this weird in a while, so just put that aside. But it is falling a little bit in my creases. I have a pimple over here too. And like in my Cupid's bow area, it's kind of doing the same. It's just a little bit too dewy for me right now. I definitely can feel it more, like the longer I've been wearing it, especially in the past 2 hours, the more noticeable it's become, like that I've got something like sticky on my face. I do think it looks nice, but I don't know how long this is gonna wear. I'm gonna see how long it'll wear. I'm actually doing nothing tonight pretty much except for like chilling and stuff, but yeah, that's pretty much what's going on right now. Very shiny, kind of falling into just like my mouth area, and of course the dry patches. But I've said before in foundation reviews that I don't count that against foundations because all my foundations do that, and also my skin never really has dry patches. I think this is just a new thing in my life that has happened at the beginning of 2021. Just love it. But yeah, so that is what we're looking at. So I will see you guys in the next check-in. All right, guys, so this is the final check-in. It's actually 9 o'clock right now. It's been a little bit longer than I was planning since my last check-in because I actually had to do some homework. Yay. So yeah, but this is gonna be the final check-in because I really need to take this makeup off. It's feeling so sticky. So here's the final result. Keep in mind that this makeup has been on for 10 hours now, so it's been on for a decent while. So it did last, but it's definitely falling apart now, and it's definitely pretty dewy. It started getting pretty dewy pretty early on. How many times can I say pretty? But yeah, so that is something to note. It definitely has clung to all my dryness. Oh, I need to exfoliate. But the coverage is really nice. I would definitely travel with this if I needed something quick to put on in the car or on a plane, but I don't think it would become my like go-to foundation. Of course, I'll continue playing with it and like update you in a product update video or whatever in the future. But yeah, so this is what we're looking like. I like it, not for oily skin, definitely full coverage though, in case you're wondering. And if you like a dewier look, that would be good if you like full coverage as well. I don't know if it's something that you can really sheer out except maybe with a sponge, but even then the coverage is pretty high, at least medium. So just keep that in mind. All right guys, editing Monica here. Actually it's the same day. I'm editing the same day that I'm filming. It's super fun. But anyway, I wanted to let you guys know, I did put like a little text at the beginning of the video telling you how much each item costs, but the Kat Von D, just so you know, is $38 for 0.35 ounces or 10 grams, which is very little product, and I think it's just a little bit, way too expensive for it. I like the foundation, but I think that price is just way too high. If it were $20, it would be much more reasonable. So if you cut that price in half, I think it would be much more worth it. But if you're like watching all these videos, people are saying they're really like to try it, but you are on a smaller budget, then just so you know, it is $38, nearly $40 for very little product. I just wanted to pop in here and tell you that. So back to editing. Thank you for joining me in this TED Talk. The concealer, it did not fade or anything. It still has pretty high coverage and didn't crease. Of course, I did set it with a little bit of powder. I didn't bake or anything like that, but I did set it. But it still looks really good, so I'm going to continue trying out the concealer as well. I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, hit the notification bell down below, and subscribe to my channel if you're not already. Also, remember to follow me on all my socials. Instagram is at Monicanna96, and then I have TikTok, which is also Monicanna96, and then you can follow me on Facebook, which is Monica Northcutt. And of course, if you want to email me or anything like that, email me at imakeuplikethis96@gmail.com. But anyway, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day or night, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!